Do you know how privileged you are to live in a republic? A society where you get to choose your occupation, your family, your religion. A society where you get to choose what is best for your nation, as opposed to somebody else choosing what is best for themselves. When asked, what form of government do we have? Benjamin Franklin replied, a republic, if you can keep it. And we have for over 200 years. And by fulfilling the duties outlined for us in the United States Constitution, we can hope to keep our nation for another 200 years. And while there are very few explicit duties stated in the Constitution, there are quite a few implied duties. We are not required to do much when it comes to civic responsibility, but there are many things that we must do in order to fulfill our duties as citizens to the United States of America. One of the main purposes of the Constitution is to limit government power in order to provide the citizen with as much freedom as possible. By limiting government power, our founding fathers ensured the people of the United States with certain rights and liberties. In order to protect these, we must be willing to defend the Constitution. We must be willing to educate ourselves on the Constitution. We must not commit acts such as treason, and we must be willing to complete tasks such as jury duty and voting. It is through things as simple as this that our nation has survived for so long. In the words of Samuel Adams, the liberties of our country, the freedom of our civil constitution are worth defending against all hazards. And it is our duty to defend them against all attacks. As detailed in this quote, the Constitution is not just something we should defend. As citizens, this is our duty. Article 6 of the United States Constitution explains that the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. No one or no thing is above the law. The nation in which we live is based off of a single document written by men over 200 years ago. Imagine the authority a document would need to hold in order to maintain its position as the supreme law of the land for multiple centuries. But unfortunately, I fear the number of people willing to defend the Constitution is becoming fewer. While researching for this speech, I came across an article written by The Week titled, America's Constitution is Outdated. Let's throw it out and start over. To which the first line read, America's Constitution is an outdated, malfunctioning piece of junk. And it's only getting worse. This got me wondering, how many people feel this way? How do we expect citizens to fulfill their duties if they do not support the very document they are expected to defend? How do you live in a nation like the United States and feel such disdain towards the foundation? The very fact he was able to publish his article is a testament to how great our nation is. In many places, if you were to speak ill of the government or its leaders, it would not work out well for you. But in America, we are free to voice fears and concerns free of repercussion. In a society where loyalty to the Constitution is becoming a thing of the past, how do we revive patriotism? Well, it is my belief that the first step to being able to defend something is understanding it. In the words of Thomas Jefferson, it is every man's right and obligation to read and interpret the Constitution for himself. If this is the case, then why are we not reading the Constitution in schools? I recently asked my friends if they would be willing to defend the Constitution. All of them said yes, but when asked why, they could not give me a good response, aside from one. Because my history teacher told me to, and I like my history teacher. All the students I asked were honor students in one of the top-rated schools in Florida. And even after taking years of public schooling and one full year of civics, they could not give me one good reason to defend the Constitution. And unfortunately, this is not something that simply affects my generation. According to CBS Politics, 1 in 3 Americans cannot name one branch of the United States government. If the entirety of our government is based off of this single document, why are we not ensuring education on it? When we do not know our own Constitution is when we are most vulnerable to manipulation. To know the Constitution is to know how to defend not only ourselves, but our nation. And education, although important, is not always enough. We need people who are willing to leave behind their hometowns, their friends, their families, in order to fight for our rights. People who are willing to put their lives on the line in order to fight for their fellow citizens. These are our military men and women. Amendment 2 of the United States Constitution begins with, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Young, healthy men and women with their whole lives ahead of them put their future on the line to fight for our rights. By fighting for their nation, they fight for our family and friends. We must put aside fear and fight for our people. Part of defending the United States and its Constitution is not committing acts such as treason. Treason is described in Article 3 of the United States Constitution is only in levying war against them, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the account of 2 witnesses to the same overt act, or on confession in open court. The penalty for treason is death. And there must be at least 2 witnesses, or a confession in open court, before any charges are pressed. Because of this, many people will never face charges of, or even know anyone who will face charges of treason. In fact, the last person convicted of treason was Tomoya Kawakita in 1952. This means that we have gone over 67 years without any charges being pressed for treason. And although it is a serious offense, it is one that most citizens will never have to face serious charges of. Although, something more prominent that almost all citizens have to face is jury duty. By giving citizens a right to jury, it gives them protection from bias and ensures fair treatment. Our founding fathers knew what it was like to live in a time when they did not have the right to a jury. Imagine how scary it would be to have just one person in charge of punishing you. They could give extreme repercussions for minor offenses, or vice versa. But because of the document that our founding fathers wrote over 200 years ago, we do not have to live in fear of an unfair ruler. We can rest assured that our fellow citizens share the power. To conclude, we live in a great nation, a free nation, a nation that many men and women like ourselves have worked hard to keep. And by fulfilling the duties outlined for us in the United States Constitution, we ensure the same great nation we live in today to future generations. Thank you.